So let's specifically talk about investing in property. I find investing in property one of the most exciting investments because it's something real. When you're investing in shares and so on, you don't get to touch it. You don't get to feel it. You don't get to play with it. You don't get to live in it. But investing in property means you get to have a house, and that is so exciting. So I find personally that investing in property, it is not the best investments. There's a lot of investments that make a lot of money. It usually comes with more risk. But with property, especially if you're starting out, you get a home. That is the best backup of your life. To be able to have a house and a home and a place to live and raise your family and so on. Now you can invest badly and you can invest very wisely. And it comes down to a lot of different things. But if you start with your first property and you purchase it with growth in mind, you purchase it with location, and my personal favorite, and this is what I work with adding value to it. So with a property, if you can buy a property that the bones are good, but it needs a lot of work and you get it very cheap, you can then add value yourself with your own hands. That scares a lot of people because they don't know how to do it. But again, and I have mentioned this in many other videos, YouTube and Google will show you how to do anything. If you want to, you can learn anything. All you got to do is type it in. So if you buy a house that needs a whole lot of work, you can look it up. How do I do this? How do I do that? Obviously, big structural changes and modifications, they need building permits. That's outside of the scope. But I mean kitchens, bathroom, plaster. You can learn all of that. Piece of cake. It's going to take you time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take your time away from family. It might take you time away from, drinking on the weekend. But that's the sacrifice you need to make when it comes to investments. So when you begin, just focus on getting yourself a property to live in. That you need to focus on savings. You know what I did, and this is what I did when I was 19. I went to the bank and said, hey, I want to buy a house. And the bank said, no, you can't. I said, okay, what do I need to do? Don't give me problems, give me answers. And they said, well, you need a full-time job. All right. I went and got a full-time job. I then went to the bank and I said, I'd like to get a home loan. And they said, sorry, you can't. I said, okay, well, what do I need to do? They said, well, you need savings. Oh, what does the savings need to look like? Okay. I went and I did that. I got savings. I built that up. I went back to the bank and I said, all right, I'd like to get a home loan. What do I need to do? And I kept doing that over and over and over again until I did everything they asked. You know what happened? I got a house. And it wasn't a very fast house. It wasn't a beautiful house. It wasn't even in a great area. Back then, 20 something years ago, I only paid $80,000 for it. But that set me up to be able to then continue to do it. And it took me another 10 years to be able to buy a nicer property. But that is the process. If you're starting with nothing and you want to buy a house, just find out the answers. Go to the bank and say, what do I need to do? When they say you need to do this, this, and this, go and do it. Or look on YouTube and Google and say, all right, I want to, buy, and you can set your sights high if you want. I would suggest setting your sights lower, buying a cheaper property that you can create your own value in it, because it is hard work.